From the studios of Tucson Business Radio X, recorded in the Stewart Title corporate offices on Broadway, you are now listening to The Mark Bishop Show. And now here's your host, Mark Bishop.
And welcome to another show. You know, U.S. auto insurers, they're offering more than $10 billion in COVID-19 related premium relief to drivers. And drivers can reduce costs further by raising their deductible and dropping a collision coverage on an older vehicle. Interesting. And some more interesting stuff, too. The COVID-19 crisis has prompted many people to reevaluate the best ways to protect their financial futures. Now, whether it's an automobile, homeowners, renters, or life insurance, now is a good time to review your current policies to see, number one, how you can save money on premiums, and two, which policies may need to be adjusted. Now, my guest is Sean Kevelighan, CEO, Insurance Information Institute. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you very much for having me. And what we affectionately call the Triple I, we consider ourselves to be a trusted source to help customers and your listeners know how insurance works and how to manage risk and be more resilient in life.
Sean, please share with us how listeners can get assistance from auto insurers if they have trouble paying their bills, why it's a good time to perhaps take a home inventory, what to look for when checking your homeowners or renters coverage, and one more for you, ways to purchase an affordable life insurance policy, if you'd be so kind.
Absolutely. And you know, we have so much uncertainty in front of us right now in our lives. And what we're encouraging customers to do is take the time to step back and make sure your life and your family are prepared with the right insurance. Insurance can bring certainty during uncertain times. And what we're encouraging people to do is really appreciate that as lives are changing, so do possessions and financial commitments. So one thing, as you mentioned earlier, we're encouraging customers to check with their auto insurer and understand what they are offered in terms of a discount, in terms of cancellation moratoriums, those types of things. Different insurers are offering different types of discounts and such, so we encourage them to make outreach to that. When it comes to homeowners and renters insurance, making sure that you have an updated inventory is important. As we're in our homes more, take the time, walk around with your phone, take a video of your items. Make sure as well that based on those items that you're contacting your insurer and that you've got the right amount of coverage for yourself. And then if you have people who rely on you financially, you really should consider buying life insurance to protect them if you haven't already. We encourage everyone to review their insurance needs annually, reach out to an insurance professional, reach out to an insurer directly, making sure that you have the right type of insurance, that you are covered for the right types of catastrophes that could come your way. We're certainly seeing a very active natural catastrophe season with the likes of tornadoes. We've seen a prediction of the hurricane season being above average this year, wildfires, those types of things. So those catastrophes are still coming, even as we're facing the larger catastrophe of COVID-19. And insurance can help customers be more resilient and manage their risk and get their lives in the right place should catastrophe strike.
You're not kidding, mate. I feel like I'm in a Stephen King movie after watching news last night. All these things coming from, what are they called, these wasps or whatever, and then you've got the tornadoes. They look very bad. I mean, you've got to recommend to listeners regularly taking inventory of their current insurance policies. I mean, you can forget, can't you? You haven't got a clue where you're at. It pays to do that.
It absolutely does, and in particular, when we're talking with the likes of homeowners and rental policies, one thing that is important, the home is more often than not the biggest financial asset that an individual has. So you want to make sure it's protected, and you have the right type of protection. In particular, we have to understand that flood insurance is a different take. It is mostly available through the government National Flood Insurance Program. And that's something that's separate from the traditional homeowners policy. And unfortunately often overlooked by the customer. In fact, more than 80% of those that need flood insurance actually don't have it because it's misunderstood as to how it's available, which again is through the government. So we encourage the customer again to speak with their insurance professional, make sure they understand that they need flood insurance, make sure that they're protected as well. Earthquake insurance is sold separately. So these are things that we don't want to think about. We don't like to think about bad things happening, but it is important to take time, assess your risks, speak with a professional, and make sure that you have the right insurance to withstand the catastrophe should they come.
Well, it doesn't cost you anything to ask, does it, to find out? I've spoken to people about flood insurance, and they didn't realize it's government, and they certainly haven't realized that it doesn't have to cost the earth. People are there to be asked questions of, aren't they?
Absolutely, and we at the III are a good source of information for the customer as well. Our website is iii.org. We were set up 60 years ago by the insurance industry to be an objective source of information. So if you have questions, chances are we will have the answers for you. And at that point, we're not actually selling the insurance. But as you go and look at insurance, you should also understand you have many options available to you. The U.S. insurance market in particular is a very large market, and everybody has individual needs. So make sure that you're considering different types of insurance, different insurers, and an insurance professional can help you with all of that.
So let me ask you this, Sean. How is the auto insurance industry responding to the COVID-19 crisis right now?
Well, we are very proud, and I think you mentioned it earlier, of how the insurance industry is looking out for the customers. And in particular, with auto insurance, we've seen the industry act with urgency and understand that people are driving less. And as a result, to date, it's estimated at about $10.5 billion in COVID-19 related premium relief for drivers. So this is important for customers who have auto insurance to make sure that they're reaching out to their professional or their insurer directly to help them with relief in terms of auto insurance. The other thing that people want to also consider for auto insurance is just making sure that they've got, if they need to save on the insurance policy overall, raising their deductible can make that happen. So if you have an older car, you may want to consider whether or not you need the more comprehensive coverage. But and then again, depending on the different insurers, they're really reaching out to the customers to make them understand the situation here is different. We've got to adapt to it, and we as an insurance company, we're there for you.
Now, when you're reviewing, whether you've got the right types and amount of insurance coverage, it can result in even more savings if you know what you're doing. Is there a specific format that you can hand off as a tip to my listeners? Is there a way that you can address this that it's simple to do?
Certainly, there are different ways that, quite frankly, if you're more safe in your living, then you will have more discounts in your insurance. So if you're a safer driver, you're paying attention to your driving, then that's going to reflect in discounts, as well as homeowners understanding where you're living. Even understand, look into the risks that are there. There are options available to you to understand the risks in your community. And we encourage people to understand that risk more and understand what could potentially happen. Again, this isn't something you necessarily want to think about all the time, but you must think about it. And as we're faced with such a tragedy of COVID-19, we understand the increasing risks in our world, and we've just got to make sure to understand that insurance is there for you for the catastrophes like natural disasters, auto accidents, cyber incidents, all of those types of things. So make sure you understand where you're living, what the risks are. Take a moment, call an insurance professional. They are there to help you, and they will be able to tailor some policies to your individual needs.
Well, that's good service. Why do you think, Sean, the consumers typically, overestimate the cost of buying perhaps a term life insurance policy? What's the reason for that, do you think?
Well, I think just oftentimes it's something that just people just need to explore more. And I think and as they explore more, what they find is there are all sorts of options available, and it's sometimes just misunderstood just how many options are available, just how much people can protect themselves financially. More often than not, people don't want to believe that tragedy can strike to them individually. And so what you need to do, though, especially if you have people that depend on you financially, you've got to buy enough life insurance. The term life insurance option, as you mentioned, is the most available and is the more cost-efficient option, but you can also consider a more permanent, what we call whole life insurance, if you need to have life insurance for as long as you live, or even if you want to save money on a tax-deferred basis over a long period of time. So companies have different rate classes based on a person's health and lifestyle, and as you mentioned, one of the things, if you live healthier, your life insurance is going to be less. And then you can take other options by just making sure your premiums are deducted from your payroll, so that you don't have to think about it quite so much. But again, life insurance is very, very important for those that have others that are relying on them financially.
Right. Yeah, very important. And one just out of left field I'd like to ask you, because, you are from the Insurance Institute, you're up there. People can go to you. People can go to your site if they want to. They can call you. We see a lot of, there's been, an excess of scams come out in all industries, all niches since the COVID-19 outbreak. And you often see a lot of ads on television about, no health checkup here, no this, no that, for insurance. And you sort of wonder, well, gee, this sounds too good to be true. People can always just go to www.iii.org, can't they? You're there for the people.
Absolutely. We are there too, and we believe that an informed consumer is an empowered consumer. And so that's what our information is meant to do, to help people understand what insurance is, how it works for them. These are uncertain times, and insurance can provide the certainty that people need. Because again, we have other catastrophes that are happening now and will happen in the future. And we've got to make sure that people understand what they need to do to ensure that they can be more resilient in life. Insurance is a good first step towards resiliency, but they can also take other steps as well to help themselves be more resilient. And the III is a source of information at iii.org, where we are encouraging policyholders to have that annual insurance checkup, make sure they're reaching out to the insurance professional to ensure they have and maintain the appropriate coverage during these important times.
And just a final one I'd like to ask you, Sean. Do you ever think one can be too old for insurance?
Oh, no. Everybody will need to have some sort of insurance sometime. And so it's throughout their entire life. So it's important to understand what your individual situation is, and that insurance will be able to help you regardless of your age.
There you go. Well, that's what people should remember, You're not over the hill at all. Very important insurance for many parts of life, and today, even more so. Sean, CEO, Sean Kevelighan, CEO of the Insurance Information Institute. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. You've always got great tips, and thanks for the help that you're giving us out there, Sean. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us.
You're welcome. There we go. Sean Kevelighan, everybody, CEO of Insurance Information Institute, the III. And remember, you can go to this site, www.iii.org. That's .org, not .com, okay? O-R-G. A lot of good reading, a lot of answers, a lot of questions, and you can talk to them. I know it's difficult these days to get anybody on the darn phone, but you can talk to them. They're there to help you. And thanks for listening. We'll catch up another time here on The Mark Bishop Show. I look forward to your company.